What if the SUV you trust to protect your family doesn't actually protect them when it matters most? This brand new SUV looks strong, modern, and safe. It has the tech, the design, and all the right marketing promises. But when it was finally pushed into a real crash test, the results made experts pause. Because safety isn't about how a car looks parked in your driveway, it's about what happens in a split second you never see coming. So does this SUV really deserve its safe family car reputation? Or is there something buyers are missing? Stay with me, because what you're about to see might completely change how you look at modern SUVs.
SUVs dominate American roads for one simple reason: people believe they're safer. Higher driving position, bigger body, more technology, it all feels reassuring. And automakers know this. That's why nearly every new SUV today is marketed as the perfect family vehicle. Safe. Smart. Protective. This particular SUV entered the market with big promises. Advanced driver assistance, reinforced structure, and top-tier safety claims. On paper, it checks all the right boxes. It targets families, daily commuters, and anyone who wants peace of mind without stepping into luxury pricing. But here's the thing: modern SUVs are heavier, faster, and more complex than ever before. And that makes real-world safety more complicated. A vehicle can look solid, feel stable, and still struggle when physics takes over. That's why crash testing matters. Not the marketing videos. Not the spec sheet. Real crash tests expose what actually happens when everything goes wrong. And this SUV was recently put through those tests. At first glance, the results don't look terrible. But when you slow things down and examine the details, questions start to appear. Questions most buyers never think to ask before signing the paperwork. And that's exactly what we're doing today, looking past the surface and breaking down what really happens when this SUV is pushed to its limit. From the outside, this SUV looks like safety on wheels. Wide stance. Thick pillars. Modern LED lighting. Everything about it says secure. The design communicates confidence, and that's intentional. Automakers know buyers associate size with protection. Inside, the cabin reinforces that feeling. High seating position, clear visibility, and a layout designed to make drivers feel in control. The materials feel solid, doors close with a reassuring weight, and the overall experience gives off a sense of protection. Technology plays a huge role here. This SUV is packed with safety features: automatic emergency braking, lane assistance, blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control. These systems are designed to prevent accidents before they happen, and in many cases, they work well. On the road, the SUV feels stable. Steering is predictable, braking feels confident, and the suspension keeps things composed. In everyday driving, it does exactly what you'd want a family SUV to do: nothing dramatic, nothing scary. And this is where expectations get set. Because when a vehicle feels this composed in normal driving, buyers assume it'll perform just as well in extreme situations. But crash tests don't care about feelings. They care about physics, structure, and milliseconds. And that's where the story starts to change. When this SUV enters the crash test, everything happens fast. The impact. The deformation. The sudden transfer of energy. And at first, it looks controlled. The front absorbs the hit, airbags deploy, and the cabin holds together. But slow the footage down, and the concerns appear. Certain areas of the structure deform more than expected. Some impact angles reveal weaknesses that aren't obvious at full speed. While adult front occupant protection remains decent, other areas, especially secondary impact performance, raise eyebrows. The safety systems do their job, but not perfectly. In some scenarios, they react a fraction too late. Not enough to call it a failure, but enough to matter. Because in real-world crashes, small differences can mean big consequences. This isn't a catastrophic result. But it's also not the bulletproof performance buyers might assume from a safe-looking SUV. And that's the uncomfortable truth. This SUV doesn't fail, but it doesn't dominate either. Here's where things get interesting. Most buyers will never look this deeply into crash test data. They'll trust the badge, the size, and the sales pitch. And in most situations, this SUV will protect its occupants. But safety isn't binary. It's a spectrum. Compared to top competitors, this SUV lands in the middle. Strong in some areas. Average in others. And when you're buying a vehicle meant to protect your family, average can feel uncomfortable. What makes this more complicated is how modern safety is marketed. More tech doesn't always mean more protection. Bigger doesn't always mean safer. And a confident design doesn't guarantee superior crash performance. This crash test doesn't expose a bad SUV, it exposes a misunderstanding. The belief that all new SUVs are equally safe. They're not. So what's the final verdict? This SUV is safe, but not exceptional. It delivers solid protection in many real-world scenarios, and for most drivers, it will do its job. But it doesn't set a new benchmark. And it doesn't outperform every rival the way its design and marketing might suggest. If you're a buyer who values space, comfort, and modern features, this SUV still makes sense. But if maximum crash protection is your top priority, you owe it to yourself to compare crash test results carefully, because small differences matter. The real takeaway here isn't about one SUV. It's about how we define safety. Looks can be misleading. Specs can distract. Only real-world testing tells the full story. So now it's your turn. Would this crash test make you think twice before buying this SUV, or do you still trust it as a family vehicle? Let me know in the comments. If this breakdown helped you see car safety differently, hit like, subscribe for more honest, no-hype car content, and I'll see you in the next video.